watching out for you. This is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Casey Kirshner. Talent police say 2 people are in custody after a reported stabbing. Police say it happened just after 8 o'clock last night. Talent officers responded to the report at 511 Talent Avenue, a location actually right across the street from the Talent Police Department. Police say the person reported being stabbed in the shoulder and then being hit over the head with a gun. Officers reportedly went to the suspect's home after the incident happened. And family members are asking people to be respectful of this situation. And Talent Police Department didn't respond to us this morning for more details. And a suspect is in jail facing charges for breaking into a Grants Pass bike shop last weekend and stealing a high-value bike. Grants Pass Department of Public Safety patrol officers responded to a burglary at Don's Bike Center. That's on Southwest G Street. The suspect is apparently a juvenile, so police are not releasing their name. Police say the suspect broke the front display window to get into the business and stole a bike valued at more than $2,000. The suspect was lodged into the Juvenile Justice Center for charges of burglary, theft, and criminal mischief. The $2,000 bike was also found and returned to the victim. Anyone with additional information related to this incident is encouraged to call the Grants Pass Department of Public Safety. And a new year means swearing in a new sheriff-elect, Corey Falls, in Jackson County. On Monday, Corey Falls will be sworn into office as the new Jackson County Sheriff. The ceremony will take place in courtroom 201 inside the Jackson County Justice Building. A judge will swear in all newly elected officials during that ceremony. And Josephine County will also have a new sheriff with this new year. Grants Pass Public Safety police officer beat out the incumbent Gil Gilbertson, and he will also take office tomorrow. That's Dave Daniels, and all other newly elected officials will also be sworn in during that ceremony. And the big night for the Challenge of the Champions bull riding finale wrapped up yesterday. Riders from around the country headed to the Jackson County Expo Center in Central Point last night. This was the 6th year for the Challenge of Champions Tour, and it's the 6th year that it's come to town. The tour does events all over the Northwest in Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, and they do bull riding for the fair.
We started with 3 events in Roseburg and Central Point, and we had 12 this year, so the guys rodeoed at 12 different stops to qualify here. This next year coming up, we'll have 19. So our goal is to be as big as the PBR up here in the Northwest.
45 bulls were also part of that event, and there were also 8 junior riders. And the Medford-Alba Sister City Association will be out again today picking up Christmas trees in Jacksonville and within Medford city limits. Donations collected for pickups will help send 29 students from North, St. Mary's, and South Medford high schools to Alba, Italy in March for their exchange program. The students are hoping to raise $100,000 for that trip, and the group is expected to pick up hundreds of trees. If you want your tree hauled away, it should be placed near the street and labeled for the Medford-Alba City Sister Association.
Just go around with pickup trucks, and it's a fun kind of bonding experience for them, as well as providing a service for people getting rid of their trees.
The Sister City program raised $4,000 for the trip last year, and volunteers hope to raise even more this weekend. And if you didn't get your tree out for that first day, pickups will happen again today, and today at until 4 p.m. And it could be illegal for folks in Oklahoma to wear clothing that covers their faces, including hooded sweatshirts. It's already illegal to wear such clothing during the commission of a crime, but a Republican state senator has introduced an amendment to ban people from hiding their identity in public in general. The hope is for more widespread defense against criminals hiding their identity, but those opposed say it's taking away rights of expression.
They might have personal issues for keeping them on. Maybe they're having a bad hair day, or maybe they have cancer and they're losing their hair. I mean, you just don't know why.
As it reads now, the fine for wearing clothing that hides identity would be $500. But there are some exceptions, like covering your face for religious or medical purposes. All I'm saying is if they banned hoodies in Oregon...
I don't know what I did. Like, okay, I get the face. I get covering the face. That's understandable. And if you're wearing a hoodie during a crime, understandable. But if it's cold outside and I want to keep my ears warm...
As it is.
I'm going to wear a hoodie, okay? That is my thing. I love wearing my hoodie sometimes. So I'm just saying, I don't know if I could take it in Oklahoma. But, hey, we still can wear hoodies here in Oregon. So you probably will need it the next few mornings with those cold temperatures out there. We also have a little bit of rain moving through the region right now. Not quite what we had early this morning. I'm talking about like 2 in the morning. We had a line of showers move through with a warm front. All that's left, though, now just a few pockets of showers. Still, though, cloudy conditions across the entire region and those chilly temperatures. 34 degrees in Medford, 33 in Klamath Falls. A little bit of fog out there. You can see it in Medford. We're down to about 6 miles of visibility. This is what it looks like on the ODOT camera. Looking down at Barnett Street, up at Sexton Summit, excuse me. You can see the fog there accumulating as well. For the Diamond Lake camera, though, we are getting some snow still falling, as it did fall throughout the night. For today, just cloud coverage, a little bit of showers. I'll tell you all about it. Have your week's forecast coming up.
Thank you very much, Seth.
Got it.
With the cold temperatures, it made some great skiing conditions in our region. Mount Ashland and Mount Shasta both continue to be open for skiers and snowboarders this weekend. Although no new snow fell in the last 24 hours in those areas, both have a sustainable snowpack that's good for these cold nights. Mount Shasta is actually offering twilight skiing, and all the lifts are open in both locations. And amateur athletes race to benefit a local boy in the fight of his life. Alex Shepard is just 12 years old and has been battling cancer since 2013. This is the second year of the cyclocross race for Alex. The turnout this time around was even larger than last year. Participants tell us they were glad to be helping out for a good cause. Cyclists raced several times throughout the course, hosted at Schoolhouse Brewhouse in Jacksonville. Alex's family says they're overwhelmed by the community's support.
I am so thankful to everybody. I always think, what can I do to repay people? And you can't. It's amazing. I've never felt so much love from so many people, strangers that are now friends, and it's family. This community is our family.
100% of the proceeds from that race will go towards Alex and his family. The Children's Advocacy Center in Medford got a makeover. A local teen is using her artistic talents to transform the once blank walls. Ashland High School student Jaden Whitlock designed the murals for her senior project. She put together a team of local artists to help her complete the task, and many of the paint and resources were donated by community members.
I'm an artist, so I work alone, and working with a group of a teamwork effort that has to have a vision, that has to have the mural look a certain way that I wanted it to look, it was definitely different.
The doctors say that many of their young patients have gone through trauma, and these colorful paintings will make the center feel more kid-friendly. When something special is happening, a family get-together, night out with friends, or even a vacation, it's hard to resist sharing posts and photos on social media, but experts say it's not just your friends and family keeping track of where you are or where you are not. ABC's Nick Watt tells us about the dangers of oversharing.
Were you at the Sugar Bowl New Year's Day? Did you post about it on social media? If so, Allstate has an alarming message for you. Just watch the commercials they aired during the game.
I'm kind of a social media nerd. I'm also kind of a burglar. So when the people who live here posted online from tonight's game, I did what any self-respecting nerd burglar would do.
That couple, Matt and Shannon Moskell from Illinois, are real, found by Allstate researchers oversharing on social media. The insurer built a mock-up of their home, filled it with replicas of their possessions.
Scoot your boots on over to my website and thank these people for oversharing by paying me for their stuff.
Apparently, burglars are increasingly using Google Street View and social media to find their targets.
It's growing because the general population aren't paying attention to it. They're not managing the risk side of that.
This Indiana home burglarized just minutes after the owners left for a concert.
I posted that on my Facebook page, who the band was, where we were going. The band started at 8.
The advice from experts: resist the temptation to post snaps and updates while you're away. Turn off some location services on your phone so tweets and photos don't reveal where you are. And make sure your social media friends really are your friends. Clearly, Allstate's oversharing message hit a nerve. The insurer's site got up to 8,000 hits a second during the game.
Buy Matt and Shan stuff now.
Nick Watt, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Two customers in Miami are suing Apple, claiming it falsely advertised its iPhone 6 and 6 Plus storage. We'll have that story for you coming up next. And gluten-free diets are becoming more popular, but it may not be the best choice for everyone. Coming up in our Consumer Report, a look at the benefit and shortcomings of gluten-free food. And the Beavers and the Ducks duked it out in the Civil War basketball game. We'll tell you all about that game and what coaches had to say about it coming up in sports.
Watching out for you. This is Newswatch 12.
Gluten-free diets are popular, and about a third of Americans in Consumer Reports survey said they buy gluten-free foods to try to avoid gluten. And 63% believe cutting out gluten has its health benefits, and that may be true for some people, but for most, Consumer Reports says a diet without gluten can cause risks.
Store shelves are full of foods labeled gluten-free food, from oatmeal to pasta to chips. In this deli, even the sandwich is gluten-free. About 7% of Americans can't eat gluten because they have celiac disease or a diagnosed gluten sensitivity. But how good is a gluten-free diet for everyone else? To find out, Consumer Reports reviewed nutrition labels for more than 80 gluten-free foods.
People think that going gluten-free will help them lose weight or get better digestion and a whole host of other health benefits. But when we looked at those gluten-free products, we found that they're not necessarily healthier, and they may be less so.
One concern, some gluten-free foods contain more fat, sugar, or sodium than their regular counterparts. For example, the gluten-free bagel on the left has 7 grams of fat. The regular bagel on the right has 2 grams. And while products made of enriched wheat flour provide essential nutrients like iron and folic acid, you don't get those in many gluten-free foods. Another important worry, many of the gluten-free products Consumer Reports analyzed contain rice flour or other rice-based ingredients.
In our tests of rice and rice products in 2012, we found that most contain arsenic, often at worrisome levels.
The bottom line, a small percent of people need to eat gluten-free foods. For everyone else, there's little evidence that a gluten-free diet is a healthier choice.
And one more disadvantage of going gluten-free, nearly all of the gluten-free foods Consumer Reports purchased were more expensive than their regular counterpart. And of course, we know that it's going to be a little chilly, and this is nothing new. I mean, we've been dealing with it for a while now.
Certainly not. No, everybody has had to wear their hoodies if they had them, or beanies or any kind of warm accessories.
Just don't go to Oklahoma.
Don't go to Oklahoma if you have a hoodie. Anyway, I'll tell you about your week's forecast coming up and tell you about the next chance for rain right after the break. First, here's a live look out at Medford on the Newswatch 12 Weather Cam Network, brought to you by AirportChevy.com. Watching out for you, this is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Now, Stormwatch 12 weather with meteorologist Seth Phillips.
We knew the rain was coming in today. Well, we just needed to know what the timing of it was going to be. We have a low pressure system that's sitting up well to our northwest. And the way that it's positioned, it's bringing in a couple of fronts. First, the warm front. That's the one that we had overnight. And typically with a warm front, we get just light precipitation. Widespread, but light. You can see that line of showers that came through early this morning, dropping in rain from all areas. But it was so light that we only had measurable amounts at the coast and maybe in the Cascades. Other than that, though, really not much falling. But we did have a very low snow level, about 4,500 feet to start the day out. It will rise throughout the day, so places that are getting snow now will most likely end the day with rain, as another cold front will swing through later on today, mostly to our north, but we could get a few stray showers into the region. Temperatures right now, the upper 40s along the coast. We're looking at the 30s along the I-5 corridor, and then the lower 30s or mid-30s, depending on where you are. In the basin, I should say. Air stagnation advisory still in effect, going strong until Thursday. We might get enough wind to mix a little bit of fresh air down into the valley floors today with that storm coming through. But after that, high pressure builds right back in, and these air quality numbers are going to be fluctuating throughout the day. This is what we had last night. These numbers have come down since, but they will continue to fluctuate as we get this air, or the stagnant air, just kind of sitting around. For the Rogue Valley today, fog throughout much of the morning into the afternoon. Then by the late afternoon, we'll start to see things calm down. This is what we're looking at for afternoon highs. Today, just mostly cloudy conditions all the way through. And I'll put that storm cast into play, kind of show you what's going on. We get another bit of a push with that cold front that comes through. And then after that, things just clear out. Cloud coverage will be the story moving into next week. And that's it. High pressure will take hold. And this is the accumulation of measurable amounts of precipitation. Really not much happening at all. We get that push, and we're talking about maybe just a few hundredths of an inch at best. That is it. So for the South Coast today, what can you expect? Well, just a few showers, mainly from Bandon north. We might get a stray or two down to the south. Breezy conditions at times as that front swings through. Northern California, patchy fog, more so in the Shasta Valley, but Happy Camp, Fort Jones also getting a little bit of it. Klamath Basin, another chilly day out there in the 20s, getting up into the 40s for afternoon highs. The mountain locations will see a little bit of snow in the day with rain as that snow level comes up. And for the Rogue Valley, fog out there. It will linger, but we also have that chance of showers that will come in the afternoon. After that, though, we hit that high-pressure ridge. Everything builds right back in. Cloudy skies will be pretty much the case moving into next week. And then into the end of the week, we have a little bit of a frontal boundary that will come through. This one is weak, though. And the thing is this ridge is so dominant that anything that shoots toward it, the models are showing that it's just going to break up. So we have rain in the forecast for right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if once this boundary hits the high pressure, it just falls apart and we get little shower activity, if anything. But the good news is that the ridge will eventually break down, and then we'll start to see that storm door open up again, and we'll get system after system, more rain, more snow. Of course, we need both.
But for the short term, maybe no rain.
Well, at least until the end of next week, possibly no rain. So we're just going to have to wait and see what each model run suggests, and then we'll just go from there.
All right. Thanks so much, Seth.
You got it.
The Ducks and the Beavers faced off on the court last night. Both teams went into the Civil War game with a winning record, but only one could come out on top. That's next in sports. 2 customers in Miami are suing Apple, claiming it falsely advertises its iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus storage. They filed their lawsuit in the California federal court this week. They want more than $5 million in damages. They say Apple's new iOS 8 software takes up 3 gigabytes of storage on an iPhone 6. That's 19% of the phone's 16 gigs advertised storage. The software takes up 20% of the storage on the iPhone 6 Plus and 21% of the iPad's free space. Apple has not commented on the pending litigation, and a similar lawsuit against Apple in the past was dismissed by courts. And it's January 4th, and we've got you covered if you're looking for something to do today. Volunteer Helga Motley is hosting Legos in the library today. The event kicks off at 12:30 and goes until 3. You can participate at the Ashland Library located at 410 Siskiyou Boulevard. And the Northwest Birds Club will also host a presentation about pet parrots during their club meeting today. The meeting kicks off at 1 o'clock at Table Rock Mobile Village. The presenter will bring a lovebird, parakeet, and a winged red parrot. And the Ducks and the Beavers basketball teams faced off in the Civil War last night. Newswatch 12's Chris Leone tells us about how both teams were a force to be reckoned with, but only one could come out on top.
Both Oregon and Oregon State look nothing like the teams they were last year. Fresh faces across the board with only a few exceptions. So it's a bit surprising as Pac-12 play begins. The Ducks are 10-3 and the Beavers are 9-3. Their conference opener was against each other in the Civil War at Matt Knight Arena. The 343rd meeting between those two. Johnny Lloyd just back from the Rose Bowl win. Back at his own stomping grounds, watching his former teammates play. Very early, Joseph Young with the steal. Other way for the Ducks up 5-0, and Oregon dominated the start of this game. Dylan Brooks, the lob to Jordan Bell. 10-0 run to start the game for Oregon. But the Beavers come back. Langston Morris Walker banks it in from deep, ties the game at 27. Ducks would lead by 2 at the break. Second half, Ducks taking control. Casey Benson to Joseph Young in the corner for 3. Young was 5 of 6 beyond the arc tonight, and then they just kept going to him. Young again buries the 3, 11 points in the first 5 minutes of the half. Ducks up 44-35. And then after the steal, Gary Payton going the other way has a wide open dunk, but misses it. That starts the break the other way for Oregon. Young to Ahmad Rory for the tray. Ducks up 14. They go on to win 71-59, but both coaches seeing room for improvement after this one.
You know, 10 or 12 offense and defensive possessions I thought were really good. And then we have the same probably number on the other end of the spectrum. And if we can clean these up and cut them down, then I think we have a chance to have a ball club.
Second half, again, we lost intensity, and a lot of that was the plays that Oregon made and kind of broke our spirit a little bit, and shame on us because we've learned lessons already this year when we don't play that way, you know, how it costs us.
In the second movie of the Back to the Future series, Marty McFly travels to the then future year of 2015. Now that we've officially rang in the new year, eager fans are able to see exactly what the movie got right and wrong about the future. Some things they did get right: flat screen TVs, Skype-like communication, and teenage addiction to technology. What they got wrong: fax machines and payphones are virtually obsolete by now. And we're still waiting on those flying cars, which you're about to see, the self-lacing shoes, and of course, those hoverboards, kind of. There are hoverboard prototypes that were released just a few months ago, but the movie was actually set on the date of October 15th, 2015. So of course, there is still a little bit of time.
I mean, there's definitely time to get those flying cars going.
Oh, definitely.
I tell you what, I'm in the market for a new flying car.
I will say, I'm pretty much, I have my hopes up for the self-lacing shoes. Like, it's like the definition of lazy.
Stick your feet in and boom.
I know, it would be great. So, I mean, and apparently Nike has like a patent on it now, so hopefully it happens soon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, or today. The Flying Nun is next. Our next newscast is tonight at 5.
Until then, go to KDRV.com to get more local news, weather, and sports. See you at 5.